Good morning, 6th grade. Today we are going to be dealing with matter and chemistry. And so we are starting a new chapter. And for you guys, all you're going to have to do is take notes. You don't have your books with you, your textbooks. But we are going to start matter and chemistry. And we're looking at section 6.1, and that is materials and matter and what exactly is going on there. Now, here before you, right now, I have two objects. This one on the left side here is actually some lead. Now, lead is known for being very heavy. And then over here, some feathers. So we got a bunch of feathers over here. Now, my question to you, grade 6, is which is heavier? A pound of lead or a pound of feathers? Give you some time to think about that. Well, hopefully you said they both weigh the same because they do. A pound of lead and a pound of feathers, even though you know and you assume that lead would be heavier, they actually weigh the same because they're both a pound. However, today we're going to be talking about situations where it's even possible that this amount of feathers over here could weigh more than, this amount of lead over here. Now, why is that? What's going on? Well, to get to that, we have to go through a couple steps. The first one here is we have to learn some new terms. First one, we have to figure out what the definition of matter is. Now, some of you have probably heard this before, and if you have, that is excellent. But just to go over it again, we have a cloud here, we have a sock, and we have this coconut. Now, there's a lot of things different about these three objects. However, one thing that is the same is the fact that they are all matter. Right here, matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. And so if an object takes up space and has mass, it is therefore matter. So we look over here at the cloud. It takes up space, it has mass, and so it's matter. This sock and the coconut, all of them are matter. You yourself are matter. Yes, you matter. Now, we get into this very interesting idea of the material versus the immaterial. And so there are some things in the world that are physical, tangible, things you can touch. And there are some things in the world that are not physical, are not tangible. You cannot touch them. However, they are just as real as the material things. Let's talk about this here. Now, material things include stuff like rocks, very easy to touch, fish, the wind. Even though you can't see the wind, it is still a material thing. It's still something that takes up space and, has mass. And then finally, your body. All four of these things on the side here are material things. And when you think about, physical stuff you can touch all of these things in general. You could even pinch yourself right now if you felt like it. Now, immaterial things are a bit different. They're still very real. However, the difference between material and immaterial things is the fact that immaterial things are not as easy to take a hold of. They're very real, though. You cannot touch them, though. However, your thoughts. Now, your thoughts are real. Right now, a lot of you are thinking, hopefully. I hope that you're listening and you're thinking. Your thoughts are very real. Your feelings. As many of you know, your feelings are very real, and they can change things in your body. Your body can feel differently based on how you feel. Now, your body can change based on how you feel. That's a better way of saying it. And then we also have our souls. And so our consciousness, our soul, and things like that, that is another very real thing, but it's immaterial. And that means that it does not actually, you cannot grab it out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? You just can't find a soul. There was a guy, he was a surgeon, and his argument against the soul was that he has did a bunch of surgeries and he's never found a soul. Well, we know it's immaterial. You can't actually find it and see it like that. And then finally, God. God is also another immaterial thing. We know that God is real. However, we cannot reach out and, physically touch him in the way that we can a rock or a fish or the wind or another person. So, keep that in mind. Next thing we have to do is we have to talk about weight. And what exactly is weight? And a lot of people get confused when we start talking about weight, and they start confusing weight with the other term we're going to talk about. Now, weight is a measure of the pull of gravity on an object. And so a big part about weight is this idea right here of gravity. Your weight depends on the gravity of where you are, which then leads into this here. Your weight can change based on where you are. And so your weight does not stay the same no matter where you are in the world. It changes a very, very small amount. If you go up on a high mountain, your weight will change a little bit if compared to when you're on the ground. But for the most part, it stays the same. We're going to get into some scenarios where you can have a massive change in your weight based on where you are. For example, if you weighed 100 pounds on Earth, you would weigh 17 pounds on the moon. Change your place, you change your weight. So here's a physical picture of it here. And so we've got a cool little 6th grader here on Earth. And you can see here he weighs 100 pounds. Wow. And then he goes to the moon. And whammo. He changes from weighing 100 pounds to weighing only 16.6 pounds. Which rounds up to 17 pounds. And that is a really interesting thing to think about. You can completely change your weight if you change where you are. So I'm going to end this video here, and the second part of the video, which you still need to watch today, will be coming up very soon. I will see you guys in the next one.